Eduardo, thank you so much for agreeing to have this wonderful conversation. We've been friends for a long time. And of course, for the few people who are watching and listening to our series on Our Lady of Guadalupe who might not know you, although I can't imagine there are too many who don't know you, you are Eduardo Verástegui, and we're here in Mexico City, thanks be to God. And this conversation that we're having here this evening, Eduardo, is part of a program that we're putting together exploring many different aspects of Our Lady of Guadalupe: historical, anthropological, devotional, so many ways that we can think about and look at our Blessed Mother in her apparitions here in Mexico City. But you bring a unique voice to this series, Eduardo, because you represent the current moment in Mexico: political, spiritual, cultural. And so we want to eventually get to learn from you how our Blessed Mother is crucial to this moment, not only in Mexico, but maybe in all of the West, all of the Western world. But before we do that, why don't you tell us a little bit about how we became friends?
Well, Father, thank you so much. Mi casa es su casa.
Gracias.
Welcome to Mexico. It's an honor to have you here visiting us. And what an honor to have you here in my house, because I have been in your house, in your monastery, many times.
Many times.
So it was about time for you to come here and visit us.
Thank you.
And well, we met many years ago.
At least 20 years ago. I don't know when you
Actually,
first started coming to the Abbey.
Let me see. I remember because that was part of how God changed my life. It was in 2004.
Okay.
I remember 2004 because before I go there, for those who doesn't know who I am from a very small town, northern Mexico, called Jicotencal, Tamaulipas, in the state of Tamaulipas, below Texas, northern Mexico. That's where I grew up. And I moved to Mexico City when I was 18 years old to pursue acting and singing. So I started singing in a boy band for 3.5 years. Then I started doing some soap operas in Mexico. Back in the days, if you want to make a living as an actor, you didn't have so many options. You either do soap operas or soap operas. And that's what I did for almost 3.5 years. Then I moved to the capital of Hispanic America, Miami. And I lived there for a year. I went back to music. I recorded my first solo album in Spanish. So it was almost like 10 years of working really hard in acting, music. I wanted to be happy, of course, and I thought this career, the entertainment career, was going to fulfill me and was going to bring me happiness. But I was very confused. Something was missing. I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe more fame, more success. So one day I was flying from Miami to Los Angeles to promote my music, and I met someone on a plane who happens to be the VP of casting for 20th Century Fox. Make a long story short, he invites me to do an audition for a film, and that he was working, and they were looking for a Hispanic, actor for being the lead actor of this movie, this comedy. And I was very honest. I told him, "Thank you so much, but my English is not very well. I didn't speak English very well at that time." And he said, "Don't worry, because 90% of the film, you are going to be sleeping. So I think you can do that, right?" And so I did the audition, and next thing you know, he says, you need a little help with the accent, because even though you're going to speak very, few phrases out there, I have a very good friend that I think she can help you. Great. So I called her. I met her in Los Angeles, Jasmine. She was my English teacher, who not only taught me English, but changed my life. A devout Catholic who she used the Socratic method. She started asking me questions, for example, like, what is the purpose of your life? How are you using your talents? How are you choosing your projects? Who is God in your life? Why do you want to be an actor in the first place? Are you part of the problem or you're part of the solution? What do you mean? Yes, are you part of the problem or are you part of the solution? Media influence how people think, Eduardo. So many people in America, we think that sometimes, Hispanics, they can be a threat to the democracy of this country, because we believe that you guys are what we see in film and television, the negative stereotype of Hispanics. And where very few times you see Hispanics being heroes in movies. And I'm not talking about, like Superman heroes, like Batman heroes, but the everyday hero. And women, Latina women, Hispanic women, reduced as objects, sex symbols. And you told me you have 3 sisters, and they are the heart of the family. They're full of wisdom. They're beautiful. So, are you helping your community or not? Oh my gosh! When I look back, Father, I said to her, I am part of the problem. I am part of the problem. I didn't know. I was governed by ignorance, and now that I know, oh my gosh, what are you going to do now that you know? Well, I made a promise to God, and I made a promise to my parents that I will never use my talents again to do anything that will offend my faith, my family, or my Hispanic culture. And after I made that promise, I ended up not working for 4 years because every single offer that I got was exactly what the things that I promised I will never do. So I had to turn it down until my managers, they thought I went crazy. And yes, I went crazy, but crazy, una locura de amor por Dios, right? So I was crazy for God. But I knew that, the thing is this, I grew up Catholic, but my Catholic faith was not the center of my life, not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't know my faith well. How can you love what you don't know? So at that time, of course, my devout Catholic English teacher helped me open my eyes in many areas. I started going to Mass every Sunday for the first time, after many years of going to Mass once a year. And I thought I was a good Catholic because I was going to Mass once a year to thank God for the entire year. So I was very grateful. So because of her, I met another priest, and then another priest, and then another priest. And then that priest, I remember, he asked me, have you ever done a general confession? So, what is that? What is that? Well, have you ever, commit sins that you haven't confessed yet? Well, yeah, but God knows. No, that doesn't work. So have you ever done sins that you haven't confessed yet? Well, yes. Well, you have never done a general confession? No. Okay, let me tell you what it is exactly. And so he explained to me in detail what it was, and he gave me a little book of how to do a good general confession. And I said, I'm not going to go with this priest because I know him. And he's from Mantle, Tamaulipas. He knows my family. There's no way I'm going to go with him, right? I was too embarrassed, right? But he opened my eyes, and so I stopped taking communion, but I was going to Mass every Sunday. Then I met another priest who gave me a book, Rome Sweet Home.
Yes.
From Dr. Scott Hahn. And then I started going to Mass every day, but not taking communion because I needed to do my first general confession. Yes. Then I met Leo Severino, who at that time he was working for 20th Century Fox. I remember that I was going to Mass every day in Good Shepherd in Los Angeles, and I met him there. We became friends, and he saw me that I was struggling with my faith. And he said, what's up? Well, I don't know how to become I want to be a successful person, and I want to be a practicing, faithful Catholic, and I don't know if they can match. He said, wait, hold on, relax. Mother Teresa said we are not called to be successful, we are called to be faithful to God. That is our success. So please, just focus on this first, and if after being faithful to God, success comes, it's a blessing. But if it doesn't come, don't compromise your faith in order to obtain what the world thinks success is, because that success doesn't come from God. So he helped me a lot. And then I said, well, now that we're good friends, brother, I need to do a good general confession with a priest who, if he speaks Spanish, even better. He said, I'm going to take you to paradise. Where? I don't want to die yet, and I'm not in a state of grace yet, right? So no, I'm taking you to this beautiful place that is, for me, is paradise. It's like heaven on earth. It's a monastery called St. Michael's Abbey. So, are you ready for general confession? Yes, I'm ready. Okay, well, next week. He picked me up. We drove. I was very nervous, Father. You have no idea how nervous I was. Next thing you know, I'm here in St. Michael's Abbey, Orange County, and I see all these young students praying. I remember it was holy hour for them, and it was packed. What is this? I told you, this is heaven on earth. And then next thing you know, Father Justin, he showed up. Hello, how are you? I'm Father Justin. I'm Eduardo. Nice to meet you, Father. You speak Spanish? Sí. Are you ready? ¿Estás listo? Sí. Adelante. Okay, let's go. It was like 3 hours, I think, where it was very difficult in the beginning. I said, relax, you're not going to tell me anything that I haven't heard yet, right? So just relax. Well, can I start with the little ones? Yeah. I remember I wrote like 5 pages of my entire life, and I cry, I laugh. It was one of the most beautiful experiences in my life. After he gave me the absolution, my penance was to pray a rosary. I never prayed a rosary before. Can you imagine? I had that rosary here. So he thought, at least he knows how to pray the rosary, right? And then, my mother prayed the rosary. I wear it. We're a team. He said, no. I'll be back. He comes back with another little book, How to Pray the Rosary. So this is your penance. But as an advice for you, pray the rosary every day for the rest of your life. So, Father, every day, you will need it. Every day. Pray the rosary every day. And he was right. I left that day with so much peace in my life. Next day I went to Mass now to take communion instead of grace. I was praying my rosary every day. And then I was talking to Father Justin like every 3 days, and he said, you need a spiritual retreat. My birthday was about to, be in a few months. And so I celebrated my birthday in St. Michael's Abbey, 5 days, a spiritual retreat. I remember the first day was so difficult. Like, these guys are, I'm going to go crazy here. I want to go. And this is just after 7 hours, right?
I remember that retreat.
Eduardo. You were a seminary at that time.
I was a seminarian there, and that's right. I remember that.
You were a seminarian. Yeah. Second day, I was like, okay. But how do they do that? On the third day, I was flowing. I was like, I can.
Because
you were
coming to every hour of the office, starting at 5:45 in the morning. You were coming to just living like an Orbitine.
Like you guys. I was like an Orbitine without being an Orbitine. And on the fourth day, I remember calling Leo, if you don't come tomorrow and pick me up, I think I'm gonna stay here. No, I'll pick you up tomorrow because we have a lot of work to do. And it was 5 days where I met you and incredible other friends that I consider my brothers, who now they're not my brothers, they're fathers. And I've been visiting you since that day, and this is 2004. So how many years now?
21 years. Wow. Imagine.
21 years. You look the same. So
you look exactly the same too, Eduardo.
Well, maybe it's Mass every day. I think there's nothing better than you can give to your soul. And I thank you, Father, for your yes, for your vocation, for giving us the body of Christ every day. Everything that I've been doing in my entire life that is good, all those goods together doesn't compare to one Mass celebrated by the priest. So I'm very grateful to have you here in my house. And again, thank you. I pray for priests every day because there's nothing good we can do without the Eucharist.
Eduardo, thank you for sharing with us this beautiful testimony and of your conversion, and also of the role that the Abbey played in that. It's God's providence brings us together to do the work that he wants us to do. So he's asking you to do a lot of very interesting work right now. Politically, still in the entertainment world. You're so connected with so many people all around the world because of your strong Catholic faith that you haven't lost anything of what we might call worldly success in your life. You are famous and politically active and all of these things. Where has Our Lady of Guadalupe been in that story for you? Where is she in that project?
Well, I think she's the gift that God gave me, so I don't feel alone. I don't know how to say it. She's the heart of Mexico. She's the heart of she's the heart of our culture. She's the heart of our history. She's been crucial from day one, almost 500 years ago, and she's still crucial today. And so after I made that promise, and after I met Leo, and after I met Father Justin, after I met you and many wonderful people who helped me in my life, in my spiritual life, in reading the right books and everything, I felt like it was very sad in the beginning because I grew up with Our Lady of Guadalupe, but I didn't know who she was. She was in my house, maybe three corners in my house. She was there. I visited my grandmother's house. She was there. She was everywhere, but I didn't know. It was more like a cultural thing for me, right? Our Lady of Guadalupe. But it was until I had my conversion in Los Angeles. That's what I'm so grateful to the United States because, and I love Mexico because I'm from Mexico. I was born here, and I died for my country. But at the same time, my faith came through my English teacher in English. And at that time, I understood only 10% of what she was saying, but that was enough for me to, open my eyes. And I believe it was not even the words that she said, because I have used those words with someone else and it doesn't work. So it was something else. It was my mother's prayers as well, because I remember my mother telling my father, I'm afraid that something bad will happen to our son because he doesn't listen to us anymore. Whatever I say comes here in this ear and goes out in the other ear. But you know what? If my words doesn't touch his heart anymore, my prayers will touch his heart one day. And my mother started praying the rosary for me every day. And I believe with all my heart that there's nothing more powerful than the prayers of their mothers, of mothers for their children, parents for their children. And I believe that Jasmine, my English teacher, was the answer of my mother's prayers. And because of her, again, next thing you know, I'm in St. Michael's Abbey. And then I get to know for the first time when I was 28, 29, who Our Lady of Guadalupe was. And I went for the first time to the Basilica. And I remember, like it was yesterday, when I walked and I saw her, I just started crying and crying and crying. And I knew, I knew that something new was born, right there. And my life, it's not the same. She's my mother. I think she's she is God's voice whispering to me, don't be afraid, I'm with you. And that's the message that she's given us. Don't worry. Am I not here that I am your mother? Que nada te aflija, no te preocupes, que no estoy aquí yo que soy tu madre. Those words are not just for me, are for every Catholic in Mexico and around the world. She's Mother Mary, Our Lady of Guadalupe, the mother of Jesus. And as you said it before, no one other than God loves you more than our Blessed Mother Mary. So her love gives me confidence in what I'm doing. I'm not afraid to anything because I felt she's with me. People ask me all the time, you're not afraid, you're making movies, like for example, when I made this promise that I told you that I ended up not working for 4 years, and next thing you know, my English teacher and another priest advised me, open a production company so you don't have to worry. I mean, you don't have to worry about what's next or waiting in a chair for your next project. As an actor, you don't have so much power, Eduardo. You're just a puppet. You're just waiting for something that comes to your hands that is in line with what you want to say. But if it never comes,
then you just keep waiting.
You just keep waiting. Yeah. Why don't you just become a producer so you can have the power to control the message? And so we became producers in Los Angeles, and the first fruit of that mission was Bella, a pro-life film that changed the lives of so many people, including my own life. That movie changed my life, my life, and this movie has saved so many babies from abortion by the grace of God. Till today, I still receive letters and emails from women who were pregnant and scheduled to have an abortion, and by the grace of God, after seeing Bella, they changed their mind and kept their babies, thousands of babies. And but after that, Little Boy came, another beautiful film about faith, but then Sound of Freedom. And Sound of Freedom was not just a movie, it became a global movement.
It was a movement that summer, wasn't it?
A global movement of this horrible problem that is global too, which is child trafficking. And so people were asking me, brother, you're not afraid? I mean, you're like, this industry produced more than $150 billion a year. And you're like, you're hitting them right there. God's children are not for sale. And I just felt like Our Lady of Guadalupe is here with me, and I'm not afraid for some reason. I should be afraid, but I'm not. And I'm going to die one day anyway, so it's just a matter of time and how and when. And I leave that
to her,
to God
and to him.
And to him and to her. But I feel like if I'm holding her hand, I can do anything.
Yeah.
And it's not about me anymore anyway. It's about every day asking God, what do you want me to do? Because before I used to dream like, I want this. This is my dreams. And even some of them were good dreams. It's not about that. It's what are the dreams that God has for me? And I need to learn how to die to myself so God can live inside of me and help me and guide me and show me his dreams for me. And I'm holding the hand of Our Lady of Guadalupe. Then I felt like the richest man in the world,
Yes,
because
everything's-
I lost everything before. What I thought was everything, of course. I gained later everything. Before, I thought I had everything in one hand. In the other hand, I had nothing. Later, I lost everything, but I found everything that really matters in life, which is my faith, the greatest gift ever, which is a gift. You know,
It is a
it's-
gift.
The other day, someone asked me, "Are you Catholic?" By the grace of God. Yes, I am. So she's the most important. She's my mother. She's everything. She's my protection. She's the one that every day when I'm like, I feel down, she's my comfort. She's my refuge, mi refugio, mi consoladora. She's the one who is leading me every day to Jesus. And if I want to imitate Jesus Christ, which is the most important, everything, the most important thing in my life is to obey Jesus, to become a saint. We're called to be saints, and there's no way I'm going to achieve that by my own merits. Yes, right. It's through a sacramental life. That's why I go to Mass every day. That's why I pray the Rosary every day. That's why I go to confession once a week. That's why I go to spiritual retreats minimum once. I try to do twice a year, reading the books, biographies of the saints, our older brothers in the faith, so I can learn from them how to do it, And so I feel like protected. And if we're called to be saints, and that's the most important thing, otherwise you don't go to heaven, then anything else that is a distraction, anything else that is not helping me to point to that direction, I
push it away.
out. Not because I feel better, not because I feel like I'm better than other people. It's just because I'm so weak that I cannot allow myself to be distracted because in 1 second I will go to another direction. So I need to protect my soul. If this is the most important thing, to save my soul and to bring as many as you can, well, first you have to put the mask, the oxygen mask, like in the airplane when it's turbulent, right?
Save yourself first.
Then I can help my brother next to me, right? So that's why right now is a lot of distractions in the world. We need to focus and we need to see what are the tools that we have so we can achieve that goal, which is sanctity. Mass, Rosary, read the Bible every day, our Blessed Mother Mary, the Rosary, spiritual retreats, fasting, and penance, and retreats, serving others, as Moira said, a life that is not used to serve others is a waste of life. So all that, then you feel like now we're doing something.
What you described there, Eduardo, sounds to me like the full, authentic description of the Catholic faith from the mouth of a Mexican man, a Guadalupano. I think I can imagine that this must have been something like the world in Mexico in those decades and then a few centuries after Our Lady appeared here. 9 million people converted, and they became such good Catholics in this land, such faithful Catholics. It was everything. And we've seen, like in so many formerly Catholic countries in the formerly Catholic world, a real dissipation of all of that. People are losing all of that. What they keep might be something cultural, like you had before your conversion, before your reversion to the faith. What can you do? What can we all do? But you specifically here in Mexico, how can this chosen people that Our Lady appeared to in 1531? How can they become those kind of Catholics again, like the kind that you're striving to become, like the one I'm striving to become? Future saints for the kingdom. Wow. How can we help? How can we help with the message of Our Lady of Guadalupe to recapture that full Catholic identity as a Mexican?
Well, that's a great question, Father. I think because I've been meditating on that for years, and I think you're the black belt here. You're the teacher. I'm the student. I'm still learning. But I think for me, the other day someone asked me something similar, but was more like a little secular question, but was more about, it was a student. I was giving a talk in this university, and one young lady raised her hand and she said, how can I change these young people, this youth, and everyone is lost, they don't listen to me, blah, blah. And I was, what? I think the answer is, first, you change. If you change, Mexico change. If I change, Mexico change. Because you cannot give what you don't have. So first, you need to become a saint because you lead by example. You can say a lot of things, but even parents, the best way how to educate their children is by example. Because if they say you shouldn't do this or that, but you do the opposite, but you're not doing that. And right there, you lose all the moral authority. So the most important thing is to live by example. And that is very difficult because, people are watching us. The other day, I saw this lady crying after Mass, and she was crying and crying. And I approached her and I said, "Are you okay?" "Yes, I'm okay. My tears are tears of joy, "Oh, everything is fine then." Yeah, my husband died last week." "What?" No. Well, let me explain to you. I'm not happy because he died. I'm happy because, let me tell you, I married 35 years ago, and I was a devout Catholic, Mass every day. My boyfriend was atheist, she said. So I thought, easy, he's a good person, I will convert him later, right? So we married, nothing. Year later, nothing. 10 years later, nothing. And I was very sad, and I was very, disappointed and I was actually asking God, why you allow this to happen? I love my husband, but I cannot enjoy you with him. And this is something that is breaking my heart. But so of course, she prays for him every day. And then 10 years later, nothing and nothing. And he was always making fun of her and everything. And then 6 months ago, Eduardo, he had diagnosed with cancer. And month ago, before he died, he asked me for a priest. And I was like, "Are you still making fun of me even now?" He said, No, I'm serious. But for the last 35 years, you didn't believe in anything that I say or what I did. You were making fun of me. And I was crying because I didn't know what was going on. And he said, "I've been watching you for the last 35 years. Please bring a priest." She broke down, of course, brought the priest, all the sacraments, and he died. And she was like, wow, you cannot win God in generosity. You just don't know when and how. That's what is hard for us. But if we trust, he's going to be taking care of us and our loved ones. But for me, the lesson was this. People are watching us. And that's the most, testimonies are the most important thing that we can do. If we want to, going back to the question you asked me, I think everything starts with you and God. And then after you're one with God, then he starts using you to do certain things. Like, for example, when COVID hit in Mexico, I was living in another place in an apartment alone. And I was traveling because I was raising funds for Son of Freedom, little boy. Bella, little boy, Son of Freedom, for Son of Freedom. Next thing you know, boom, no, you have to stay in your place. Then churches are closed next Sunday. And then the whole world stopped. I was like, what's going on? Next thing you know, I was asking God, what do you want me to do here? I'm alone. Seems like there's nothing else I can do other than just pray for my parents who were, afraid of what was going on. And next, it was Saturday. It was March 21st, 2020. And then this idea came to me. So I put my social media and said, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, let's pray the rosary live. We did. Churches were closed. Mass was online. Next thing you know, we have 13,000 people praying the rosary. And I said, let's do it the next day, and the next day, the next day. Till today, it's been 5 years. The other day, my publicist told me, Eduardo, there's more than 150 million rosaries in these last 5 years in your social media. How can you plan that? How can you, there's things that you don't need, you should say, use me, and he use you. And that's it. And I always invite everyone, come to see Our Lady of Guadalupe. I know that she will touch your heart. Talk to her. She's alive. It's not a painting. She's there. She's lived with us. Like the story in the Bible. Remember when Mary's cousin, when Mary, pregnant, went to visit her cousin, and she said, I'm going to see if I can know this in English. Who am I that the mother of my Lord
should come to me?
came to visit me, right?
Yes.
So Mexicans, we can say something very similar, but
Yes.
more profound. Who are we Mexicans that the mother of our Lord come and stay here to live with us?
Yes.
That's amazing. It's amazing. I can go every day if I want. I can
Yes.
go in the morning. I was there in the morning actually for 2 hours, and it's like, wow. I live in Mexico City, and the mother of Jesus, Our Lady of Guadalupe, live like 40 minutes away from my house. It's
amazing.
I mean, if this is not enough for me to be grateful every single day, every single second, then I don't have a remedy. Then I have no solution, right? There's nothing I can do. There's nothing God can do to fix me, right? We have everything. We have Jesus in Mass every day. We have Our Lady of Guadalupe 40 minutes away from us. Catholic country, governed by anti-Catholic government. Catholic country, governed by anti-Catholic government. That's what it needs to be fixed and needs to be changed. And for that, has to be everyone, all Mexicans, all the Guadalupanos. We have to wake up. But in Mexico, there is something that if you start talking about faith and politics, you're using the church, you're using I cannot be Catholic in everything except in politics.
Yes.
It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Well, don't bring God here. Don't bring religion. Don't mix religion and politics. Well, I bring God first of all whatever I want. I don't have to ask permission to anybody, because if He's the most important, He's my Father, He's my Creator, He's my Redeemer. I bring God everywhere. Even if He's not welcome, I'll bring Him.
Yes.
So you have to kick me out.
Yes.
And that's what has been happening, since the day that I started. I'm not a politician, meaning like a professional politician, Well, we are all politicians, meaning like in the vocation of serving people, right?
Yes.
But what happened, Father, when I made that movie, Sound of Freedom, and I realized that this is a global problem, and especially U.S. and Mexico, and then the movie became a global movement. Then I said to myself, I started asking many questions, to people that I know that are working in this field, like why, if the United States is the #1 consumer of child sex in the world, and Mexico is the #1 provider, why, if this is the most powerful country and you have intelligence, military, funds, technology, everything, why you don't finish with this problem once and for all? And this person who used to work in government, he answered me, because it's not a priority. And if it's not a priority, it's not in the agenda. If it's not in the agenda, there is no funds. And if there's no funds, there's nothing. Okay, it's not a priority. And he said, yes, and we are not the solution, that person said to me, because, we can save 1 child, 2, 3, 3,000 children. Great, thanks be to God. But Eduardo, this is beyond. This is millions of children. There's more slavery today than when slavery was legal. We're talking about 45 million slaves, and many of them are children, and many of them are destined to be trafficked and raped 10 to 15 times a day, and then some of them are they open them and sell their organs, and in the black market of organs traffic. So this is horrible. So I said to myself, well, if with one movie we end up signing agreements with presidents, from President of El Salvador, President of Costa Rica, Guatemala, Prime Minister of Italy, and many others, mayors, governors, can you imagine if you become president? With military intelligence, money, and everything, what you can do to end this problem once and for all? Because again, God's children are not for sale. What if this is your son, your niece, your nephew, your godson? What would you do? You do everything to help and find him, right? Yeah. Well, don't wait until that happened to you for you to wake up and do something. Do something now, so that never happened to you and to anybody else, right? Not child deserve to go through this horrible experience, dark experience. So that's what inspired me in 2023, September 7th, to register so I can run for president of Mexico as an independent, so I can fix this problem. And of course, to end abortion, which is, again, Our Lady of Guadalupe is pregnant. She's in Mexico, and, babies are being killed every day. How can you go to sleep? There's no way. We can go to sleep in peace, knowing that our little brothers and sisters, they're being
killed in the womb,
killed in the womb of the mothers, which is the most dangerous place in Mexico right now. A lot of people ask me, what place is very dangerous, Eduardo? Like northern Mexico, or if I go, is dangerous here or dangerous there? But the most dangerous place in Mexico is the womb of a mother, because there's more humans die there than in another place, than other places in Mexico. So we need. Mother Teresa said, "There's no peace. There won't be. You won't have peace until abortion is, finished."
Ended.
So those are my two biggest missions, because being pro-life doesn't mean only to end abortion. That's the most important fundamental right? The right to be born. Yes. But we don't stop there. Then what happens after the baby is born? We need to take care of the children who are living in the streets. We have to end child trafficking. 60% of child pornography in the world that is consumed, it's produced in Mexico. That's it. Father, I cannot put my arms like this, like I'm looking the other way around, knowing that if we are Catholics, and if we're called to be saints, and you have certain skills that God gave you and certain talents, and you know that Our Lady of Guadalupe is here, and you're not orphan, you have a mother, and a lot of mother, then you have to take care of your Father's business, right? As the gospel of today.
Yes.
So what is my Father's business? And abortion, and human trafficking, child trafficking, and many other things. But those are the most important things first, because you cannot enjoy any other right, human right, if you're not born. So let's fix this. This priority, and then the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. You build a house, you cannot start like fixing the light, the electricity there if the foundation is on sand, right? Yes. And so that's what I'm. So I registered, and they gave me 120 days, and they asked me to raise 1 million signatures through an app controlled by the same people that are, that have kidnapped our country. And of course, they didn't let me to compete. They asked me to raise 1 million signatures through an app that didn't work. It was not working well, and it was controlled by them. So good luck on that one. I did it anyway. Why? Because we're here to give the battle. Only God gives the victory.
That's right. We have to be faithful, not successful.
The victory is up to God.
That's right.
For me, if I have a calling, you discern first, of course, because I didn't know if this was from God or not. And every day I always, when it's a big project, Lord, if it is from you, please open the doors. And if it's not, please close the doors. And please be very obvious, because I cannot see or hear what you can. Sometimes I see very little and you see everything. So please help me. And I did a lot of discernment, and I was inspired, and I was led to do it. And if I was wrong, I'm sorry, I'm doing this for you. And it was 120 days. And again, at the end, they closed the doors for me. But the movement started growing. And now the movement is growing, and it's growing and it's growing, and no one can stop this movement. And I don't know when it's going to happen. A lot of people ask me, how are you going to do it? My answer, I don't know. But I know that I'm called to fight. And now we're trying to build a political party. It's the same thing. It's through an app. It's controlled by them. It's not going to happen. Very likely. Doesn't matter. I'm fighting. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to fight with the last breath of my life for my country, because I believe in my country. Our Lady of Guadalupe is here. She's the one who's doing everything. I'm just trying to be an instrument. And I ask God every day, please use me to, you're the one who's going to save the country, not me. I'm a broken soul. I'm just another donkey. But God loves to use donkeys. So when I heard that voice of, like, any donkeys out there, here's one, and he used donkeys, and he loved to use donkeys because to confuse the wise, and sometimes God chooses those who are not prepared. He prepared the ones who he chose,
Yes.
And so we'll see, Father, one day at a time. I'm still a filmmaker, I'm working on Zero AD, which is a movie about the birth of Jesus Christ. And then when King Herod is trying to kill Jesus, and then when they escape to Egypt, Joseph, Mary, and Jesus, that's what the movie is about. It's finished. It's going to come out next year.
Great.
So I'm working on that movie, the most important movie, I think, in my life. After Bella, Little Boy, and Son of Freedom, and Mother Cabrini, now is It's going to be Zero AD, Saving Jesus, directed by Alejandro Monteverde, in my opinion, the best director in the world right now. An amazing Catholic, holy man who is very talented, and he's glorifying God in everything that he's been directing since Bella, Little Boy, Son of Freedom, Cabrini, and now Zero AD. And same Leo Severino, my business partner, that brought me to you guys, to San Michael Abbey. So the three of us, we've been working since more than 20 years ago. And here we are, trying to give the battle in the culture battle, political battle, most important, spiritual battle, because everything is a spiritual battle right now.
It's amazing, Eduardo. This is an amazing conversation. Great. You're such a great witness of this very important idea, which you've brought up several times now, that we first have to work on our own. We have to be right with God first.
Yes.
That we have to really ardently desire to become saints, and then we see what God wants to do with our lives. That might be something very big on a global scale, like the work you're doing. It might be something very, very small for somebody in their own family, at their own office, at school. It might be small, but one soul is worth it. The salvation of one soul is more valuable than anything in the whole material universe. So, and Our Lady of Guadalupe obviously is such a key part of that, not only for you and for me, but for everybody in the Americas, everybody in the world. She's the Mother of God. So this conversation is part of this whole series that we're trying to do our part as Norbertines, and now more Norbertines in the digital media space of evangelization, to help inspire each person who might watch or listen to this conversation or this whole series on Our Lady of Guadalupe to thirst for holiness and then give their life to God, even if we're just each of us just a little mule, and see what happens. And now you two are part of this Abbot Circle project that we are working on so hard here through St. Michael's Abbey. This Abbot Circle is our participation in that movement that you talked about, Eduardo. You're witnessing a movement of a renewal of faith and a renewal of trying to claim the culture back, the Mexican culture back here in this beautiful country. We're trying to reclaim the culture back in North America, also in our country where the Abbey exists. And the Abbot Circle is part of that movement. We see the members of the Abbot Circle as part of a movement.
Yes.
And I think that if we can all work in nourishing, spiritually especially, like you said, spiritually nourishing those who feel called to be part of this movement, it's a great gift, and Our Lady is going to bless it. I'm confident she's going to bless it.
Father, she's doing something already. She's doing something powerful, and this is just the beginning again. We need to become one with God. That's the most important thing. And that should be, that's the purpose of our lives, to know and to love and to serve God, to be a saint, right? Then we have missions, and missions are different. But we need to become one, US and Mexico and the rest of Hispanic America and Canada. Because as I said before, I am very grateful to the United States, because the United States has been such a blessing in my life and opened the door to my dreams. When I started dreaming as I wanted to be a filmmaker, my English teacher changed my life. So for me, we're not just neighbors. We should be brothers and sisters in Christ, and if we do that, we're unstoppable. That's the most important thing, to understand that we need to become one in Jesus Christ, and then the rest, He will tell us what to do. This is not a competition. This is not about who is doing like big production or little production. No, God doesn't. When we die, God is not going to ask me, Eduardo, how many big movies you have done. I think it's going to be very simple. How much did you love me, and what have you done with the talents that I gave you? Look's interested as you. No big movies, no big documentaries.
Never left the cloister.
And Luke, she's a doctor of the church, a saint. I pray to her every day to help me. So at the end of the day, where can I serve you? And maybe today is making movies. Maybe tomorrow is, work in politics. Because for Catholics, politics is not an option. It's an obligation. We should participate there, because in politics, there's no empty chairs. There's someone always occupying those spaces, making decisions that are very important, that will affect you and me, for good or for bad. So we have to participate. But again, it's not a competition. Father, the other day I was in Mass, and I was after communion, I was leaving, and I saw this young 13-year-old girl looking at me, and I looked at her, and she was looking at me, and I was looking at her, and I was like, I did this to her, and then I walk out. Then the mass finished. I was, I went to my car, and then I saw three ladies, Eduardo, and then I look at them. Yes, oh, we just want to say hi. My daughter saw you, and she told me, Mom, that's the guy for the rosary.
Yes.
And that, I feel so proud. Like, wow, she didn't say that's the guy from the movie, or that's the guy, whatever, music or TV, or the guy from the rosary. El muchacho del Rosario. First of all, thank you. She called me muchacho like a young boy. I'm 51 now. So thank you for saying that. But the fact that she said the guy from the rosary, and maybe that's the most, and that's not production. That's a camera, a light, a few lights, and me praying the rosary on social media. And that's something that I feel very proud, like more than actually any other movies that I mean, everything is important, of course, but to be talking to people, to read their comments, to remind them, and to remind myself, we're called to be saints.
Yes.
Did you go to Mass today? I know that some people here, maybe they feel alone. We're not alone. God plus one is an army. To share with them what I'm reading that day, or the homily of the priest, and just to share with the people that connect through social media. It's so powerful to use social media to glorify God. At the end of the day, whatever we do is to glorify God. And it may be a monk right now, or in a monastery, a priest, a brother that is not even using social media. Nobody knows that the guy exists out there, the nun or the priest, and he's changing the world. And that's the beauty of our faith, that this is not a competition who is doing more things. I think the most important thing is you individually asking God, please help me to love you more. Because a lot of people, I used to say this, for example, when people ask, do you love God, you have faith? Oh yeah, I have faith, and I love God, I have big faith. And then later I said, well, what a horrible answer. What do you mean I have a big faith? What do you mean I love God so much? Instead of just, it's the opposite, because we don't know how much we love God. There's not a...
You can't take the temperature.
Oh, I love 100% God right now. No, we don't know. It's invisible, and so I ask God every day, please help me to love you more, because I don't even know how much I love you. I have no idea. But I want to love you more and more and more, and please increase my faith, because I don't even know, my faith is so strong. I don't know, And and it's a gift from God. So please help me to love you more. Help me to increase my faith. Help to forgive more. At the end of the day, I believe that we come for that, to forgive and to love. You cannot love without forgiveness. You cannot forgive without love. So they come hand by hand. Please allow me to forgive and to love the way how you want me to forgive and love. And that's an everyday, and my favorite phrase is help me, help me, help me, help me to become the person, the child you created me to be. And if we do that every day, then he starts giving you missions, like what we're doing. That's a gift that God put in your heart, and the team that is behind, and now I'm part of it. Thanks be to God.
Thanks be to God.
And then tomorrow's going to be something else, and then, and we just, he's the one that is in control, and he's the one that has saved Mexico, the U.S., and the world. And Our Lady of Guadalupe is with us, and then with her, we're unstoppable. And I'm so happy that she's here with us, and we're going to pray a rosary live after this interview.
Yes, let's do it, Eduardo. Let's say the rosary, and let's also encourage one another and all the friends who are going to be enjoying this conversation to tune in, especially for the rest of the series on the Abbot Circle, and also to celebrate Our Lady of Guadalupe well on December 12th.
Thank you, Father, so much for this interview, and please pray for me, and to all my friends at St. Michael's Abbey, a big hug. God bless you, and thank you for your prayers. I love you guys.